Hello world. This week we are going to do this, it's probably like a 60s-ish pattern. It's not, I mean, it is fitted, but there are some looser sections to it. So we've got like the all-in-one cap sleeve drop shoulder thing here. There is a seam across the bust, a seam down each torso dart line, basically. And then in the back, we've got panels for each back piece above and below the bust line, and then this side armhole princess seam thing um, that I will just have to match up to the front. So I'm going to ignore these two slashes here for now. I don't think they're necessary for fitting. I almost think these might be something like pockets. Probably not because she's carrying a bag, but um, I think I can avoid that for the shaping of this. So, ooh, there is a vent too, so vents are important. I will make sure to draft that for this. All right, I am starting with our torso block with my drop shoulders. I've thrown a bunch of guidelines in here because I'm about to cut a bunch of stuff apart. So let's start with the front. I would like to cut it along the bust line, and we're just gonna, oops, with the plus tool, add an anchor point there, use our C tool and snip there and snip our dart here. And now this piece is separate. I'm just going to shift and nudge it up so it's out of the way. And then for the back, what I'm going to need to do is figure out what this length here is. Usually I just do that by copying and pasting just that one line. We're going to throw this here so that it matches our armhole corner. I'm going to use my R tool to rotate it just to figure out where it'll match on here. And then I'm going to drag a guideline down to where it ends. I'm going to get rid of it so that we don't, get confused. And now we've got this guide. So what I'm going to do here is add an anchor point there on our guideline, and then there for our center back. And then we're snipping both of those. Goodbye. I am now taking the upper portion, or not, because this looks like it didn't. Okay, no, it did. All right, so I Control-Shift-G to ungroup the whole thing. It's grouped because the dart is not drawn. It's not continuous with this line, so it was having some trouble shifting these things. But now I can just shift and nudge this up out of the way as well. And basically, the upper back pattern is almost done. I'm going to do a couple things here. So first off, I'm closing this so that it's a full shape. And then I want this dart gone because there's no dart up here. And my plan for that is to drag a guideline down to the anchor for the dart. And then we are going to add an anchor point along this. This is basically the horizontal balance line for your shoulder. Yeah, that's about all I know about that. That's fine. So we're going to cut this. We're going to cut that. Now I've got this little chunk. I am going to rotate it from the dart point, or not, using my R key. There we go. And I'm going to blend. Actually, first I'm going to get rid of those lines because we don't need them, and the anchor point floating in space. And then probably easiest would just be to subtract that and then connect these like this. And then I don't like the shape of this. Oh, hold on a sec, my windows are going to jump around. I think my recording stopped while I was trying to reorganize my window here. So we're back at this point, and I would like to curve it. So I'm using the convert selected anchor point to a smooth curve. And that gives us, yeah, that's nice. That basically transferred the dart that was here into the center back. Meaning this cannot be cut on fold, which is fine because this has a zipper that goes down from back neck all the way down below her butt. Yeah, so something for this as well, I think it would be a good idea to widen and lower both front and back neck and the shoulder area. However, first let's join this, and then I want to subtract these points to get a straight line from here to the curve there. But, okay, so let's look at this. It's probably going to be about 1.5 inches. Grab a box. This is my favorite way to do this. Do 1.5 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. There we go. I learned the guide box method thing in my internship. What is this year? 7 years ago. Um, there's, of course, there's going to be an easier way to do this, or like a less, uh, I don't know, a more elegant, that's the word I'm looking for, a more elegant way to do this, but I don't care. This works out really well for me. Um, it's really hard to do this with squares unless, because it wants me to change the shape of this, and I really just want to scoot this down enough to where it basically matches. There we go. All right, so I'm using my direct select tool, the A key, grabbing this anchor, and I'm just going to drop this down, and we're going to see what the shape looks like after that, and I will adjust from there. So gross, this would be a horrible back neck, but I think also I would like to take the same amount out of the shoulder on front and back. So we're taking our guide box again. I'm going to throw this here. We're going to rotate down. And so I haven't changed the shape of the curve of the back neck yet because I want to see what happens when I do this. Oh, see, that's lovely. I don't mind that at all. I want to maybe like make that a little deeper of a curve, but that would, I think, in theory, sit very lovely on someone's shoulder and back. Okay, same thing here. I think we're gonna drop down the neck in the front the same amount. If I hover over that anchor and add a box, it'll just snap it to that anchor, which is great. I am going to pull this down, snap that there. This looks really odd, but it's going to look fine here in a minute. We're going to get this aligned with our shoulder, neck, front, corner thing. Technical term, obviously. And we're just going to drop that down here so that it matches our shoulder line. I want to make sure that it's, excuse me, pretty much on the point there. And then same thing, direct select tool, grab, not the box, the anchor point for our shoulder, and just scoot it. And so that one's not my favorite shape. It's not horrible. I think the main thing I would want to change, I'm going to move this box into this corner. Best practices, I think, as far as how I've done things, it's good to have your anchor corners for things like this be a right angle. So actually, I really want to move this down, but I think it's going to confuse me. But we're just going to scoot this out a little bit. And then let's delete our box and then see what happened. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I think it'll work for this. Maybe we could deepen this a little more. That's better. I like that more. Okay. So for this, we're just going to close that and that. I think. Did that work? Yep. So there we've got our front piece, which can be cut on fold. So I'll do that with the seam allowance. I want to curve the anchor point from where our dart was, just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Humans are not straight lines. Although the center back, well, the back pattern piece will work that way. Let's focus now on the front. So we've got 3 panels, right? Yeah, so the center one will be cut on fold, and then there's the 2 side ones that are not obviously cut on fold. Whoa. Pretty much all I'm going to do for that. You know what? Let's do this. Don't double click. Transform, reflect, copy vertical, and yeah, so when they're matched up like that, you can click and drag with your direct select tool and remove the center line, and then click, drag, join, click, drag, join. Now we've got one solid center front pattern. Wow. So same thing, we're going to do that with this pattern as well. But what I would like to do first, snip through our dart points so that it's 2 separate pieces. Control Shift G to ungroup stuff. Nope, didn't like that. Let's start snipping it again. There's a chance that there are 2 anchor points at each of these points. I don't remember. There we go. To get this point or this shape to work, I would like to, oh no, actually first let's come down here and I need to add an anchor point there. Okay, snipping that, grabbing this and this, jump over there. Now we can close this shape by connecting all of our anchor points that were floating in space. This is going to be a nice dress shape just because I don't have to deal with the flare, the circle skirt flare that I usually do, because it adds what, 20 minutes to how I do this. But now what I'm doing is the same thing I did for up here. So I copied it and then lined it up, and now I'm deleting its center points, and now I'm going over it again and joining the anchor points there, and there. Okay, so now we can scoot this out here and you can see it better. This is our completed center front shape, although hers does narrow. So actually, let's go back. I'm going to just nudge this back, and then we're going to change where this ends. So this looks, it's probably 3 or 4 inches there. So I think I could just take, let's draw a box. Let's get one, actually. Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so 3 inches wide. It's on the wrong side of that anchor, but that's okay. I'm just going to scoot this back to here. Because we doubled this pattern piece, now I can't really tell what's going on. Oh, you know what? That's too, oh, doy. All right, so I did that wrong. This needs to be 1.5 inches wide, because once it's folded over, or once it's on the center front, it'll be 3 inches, doy. That's really small, but that's okay. So we're going to take this and go over there like that. Weird, love it, super strange. I'm going to curve that later. We'll come back to that. Geez, I swear I've had water today, but for some reason I keep feeling like there's something caught in my throat. So I apologize for that. It's probably weird. All right, so we're going to put this anchor there because that's where those patterns match. And now I need to get rid of the other half of the pattern just to make this easy. And we'll come back and copy this momentarily. Shift, nudge, transform, reflect, copy. I don't think you can see it when I do transform, reflect, copy, just because of the way that my recorder thingy is set up, but it's super handy. Right now I'm going to hide my guides, no, clear my guides so we can see better. There we go. So these are lined up perfectly. Join those, zoom way down here. Woohoo! Okay, get rid of our box. Goodbye. Click, drag, join our points. Brilliant. Okay, now we have our funky front pattern that's kind of coffin shaped, oddly. Alrighty. We're going to close our back or our side pattern by grabbing that anchor point and connecting it to that anchor point with the little square. Boom. And then for this, I'm going to sort of do the same thing I did for the front panel. I'm just going to do this and go up and then come over here. I will curve out this pattern or this corner a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty good. That's basically it for the front. I honestly don't need this little guy here. I think, I don't really know why that's there, honestly. You don't need it, clearly, because all of these things can just be snipped along their dart legs to make these shapes, so I don't really know what it's doing there. All right, now we have to work with the back pattern pieces, which is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to snip through my dart legs. Hopefully they separate. Good, they did. I need to grab a guideline and mark out where the bottom of this is with our anchor. Let's look at the back. This just goes straight down, so we're not going to worry about this funky angle like the front pattern has. So I want to get rid of my guides again. I lock them so I can edit around them, but then when I have so many, you just can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, we clipped that, or snipped that. Shift, grab those two pieces, shift, nudge, This is the weird thing that happens. I have to click here, go straight over until that intersect point, and then straight down to that one. And then this to there. Brilliant. See, this is where this back pattern gets weird. This wants to be an armhole princess. So you know what? I did that wrong. That's okay. We're just going to get rid of that line. Get rid of this little baby line there. And then I'm going to close the bottom half of this just so that these two pieces stay separate and I can work on the top. This is so weird. That's okay. That's why I do these videos, because I like to find weird vintage dress patterns and make them into stuff. Okay. That did not snap like it was supposed to. This is just for visual to figure out what I'm doing. In theory, this doesn't have to match up to this, although my OCD brain doesn't want it to not match. So we're just going to do this. I'm going to just draw something. What am I drawing? I need it to go from here down. I don't super love that, but I guess we'll figure it out. Because this is really, it's really far over. Honestly, that should come from like mid-armhole. So let's try that. I'm going to just come down here like this. And then, okay, so that's my weird guideline. We're going to fix that. I need to change the direction of this so I can see what I'm doing again. Okay, so that's basically what it would be in normal circumstances, but this wants it to be there. If I do that, we get some weirdness happening. Huh. I don't love that. And even if I go from there, actually, okay, so that's a little better. That looks a little closer to what is happening here. That's going to be weird for how things go together. This might have to be transferred to the back or to the side, but I think I can make it work. Let's line this up to there. And then we're going to keep this way, oh, not that far actually, because I want that line to be fairly center. Weird. Okay. How do I want to do that? That's a lot of excess to be taking out of that. But that's what it looks like. The other option I have, and I should have done this way at the beginning, but we're going to make this, sorry about this being an extra long video, but I'm thinking as I go. We are changing the shape of this. Where's my anchor for here? There you are. Let's see, and this anchor's there. Match them, brilliant. Oh, I don't really love doing this, but that's okay, it's gonna work. I have to snip here, and I'm gonna snip there. And we are changing where these pieces happen. So I'm rotating what was the dart to begin with down to match this. And now we have a new piece. And then I'll take our front piece and shift it up and delete the second half of it, which is annoying. But I didn't think this through. But that's okay, we're fine. But now we've got this craziness for our front. So that's going to be a little awkward, but that's okay. And then we can get rid of these two lines. I want to get rid of the extra point floating in space. And now our dart area goes like that, which actually, that's going to be fun. I'm going to love that. All right. I think I like where the back hits on this. So let's just, how do I want to fix that? I want to get rid of the bottom. Whoa, don't do that. Get rid of that part. And then cut this part. And then shift the whole upper back up just by a little bit. And now, and then I'm going to curve this. Brilliant. Okay, I like that a lot. Using my Alt to get that. Ooh, I don't need that. All right. And now we can readjust this, which is going to be a little better. I still don't love it, but it is what it is. So that's how our pattern is going to work out. So let's add some anchor points on my dart leg here and snip it there. And I'm going to figure out what to do. Same thing here. Actually, do we like the shape of that with our back? No. Okay. What I need to do is find a way to line this up. We're going to go like that. Sewing this would be a pain, but I think in the end it'll end up looking really nice. We just need this anchor to move up now. We're going to slice it, grab our line, add an anchor to the intersect, and slice it. This can go away. See what I'm doing? All right, now we have that shape and this shape, which we can nudge out of the way. Oh, and this guy. And then I'm going to take this line and Shift Alt nudge 1, 2, 3 so that it's back here. Ooh, see, this is real fun. All right. Honestly, I don't love the shape of that. An armhole princess would have been better, like directly from our armhole. It always just looks nicer that way, but this is what's going to happen. So we're going to scoot that out of the way. And then we don't need to have our back there, so we're going to scoot that up. I can take this line here and Shift Alt. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Control Z. Or just click it, Control C, Control V. And then we can move it to match and zoom in to see if they overlap. They kind of do. It's hard because I wish I could grab the anchors on these corners, but because of how the bounding box is drawn, I cannot. Where is the anchor? There we go. All right, so that wants it to be there, which is dumb because it doesn't actually match. Illustrator, what are you doing to me? Because our anchor point on this piece, hello, select please. Bear with me. All right, now let's try this again. And we are going to scoot you there. Oh, much better. Click, drag, join. Now we have our piece. Lord. Click, drag, and join. This is a funky area here, and I don't love it. So I think what's going to happen is where this intersects here, I am going to, I don't know which line I drew that on. Was it this one? Or was it that one? Nope. I'm going to click it and move it, and then Control Z because it was the other line. So if I do that, click the bottom one and add an anchor there as well. In theory, no, that did not go as planned. All right, Control Z. Wow, keep hitting the wrong keys today. All right, well, let's snip this here. And now we have two separate pieces, I think. Yes, that's good. Now I can add an anchor point to this intersection and then delete. There we go. That was what I wanted all along. There, brilliant. Because the way that these come together, you don't need all that little extra there. This is so funky. What am I doing with that? Well, first off, let's just shorten that because it ain't gonna matter anyway. click, drag, and join. Snip this anchor point, add an anchor point straight above it on our guideline up here. Actually, let's bring a guide out because it doesn't want to show me a snap. And we're intersecting there, and I'm going to cut it there. And now we've got this funky section, and now I'm going to rotate it and close our dart leg like that. It's real funky looking, but I don't hate it. That's kind of exactly what I wanted it to do. We're going to smooth out that there, but here we go. I'm getting rid of these. That's fine. This will be fine. Click and drag. We're just going to join these 2 points, which is kind of angular, but it's not going to matter. And then I'm going to come in here, and I don't like, oh, click, drag, and join those. And then, there we go. I just converted those into different shapes. Okay, so I think, honestly, we're almost done. Let's take our front, transform, reflect, copy, and we're going to match it so that it intersect. Click, drag, join, click, drag, join, boom. And, oh, I did mention, we're going to clear our guidelines first. I did mention it is imperative always to have a kick pleat or a vent or something, a slash, when you're having a pencil skirt with no flare. Your slash could be way up the center front, on the side, doesn't matter. This one has it on the center back. It is necessary. If you don't have one, you can't walk. So for how I do this, we're going to do one that's, what, 2.5 inches wide by 7 inches tall. And we're just going to throw that here. And I think probably what I want to do, I need another box that's 2.5 by 2.5. Oops, not 2.5 by 0.25. 2.5 by 2.5. And this way I can get the slash or for the top of my kick pleat. That's how I get that fun angle. And then I delete, nope, wrong one. Direct select, click, drag, delete those points. Brilliant. You can leave, I would leave this line just like this because then you know where your fold is. However, for adding seam allowance, it's going to make it funky. So what I'm going to do is just add an anchor point there, delete that, and delete that, or not. There you go. Click, drag, and join. Brill. All right. Now in theory, we have all of our patterns. So we've got our front, not cut on fold. There's no seam line in the center. We've got our middle, front, center, dress pattern, whatever, not cut on, or it is cut on fold, but I've reflected it, so you've got your full pattern piece. We've got our side front funkiness with the weird, there's no weird dart there because I don't know why they needed that. I mean, you could just cut through here and add a dart if you felt like it, but you don't need one. Our side panel, which is funky because of that armhole princess. This doesn't look like it matches, but that's because I had to get rid of the dart that was there. And our center back, all of this is cut to, and that way you get that lovely seam. We've got our kick pleat down here. All we have to do now, select them all, object, path, offset path, 0.5 for your seam allowance, depends on what you want. Preview. Looks like 2 of our patterns are incomplete. Let's find out where. It's this one for sure, and I betcha, whoa, sorry. My optical mouse freaks out a lot, and sometimes it'll just jump around the screen, which is really frustrating. Clicking and dragging and joining, there it is. Now this is a solid pattern. I'm not sure where this one's not a solid pattern, because I click, drag, and join those. I joined those, didn't I? Sure did. Joined that. That's all joined. Maybe it's in my kick pleat that parts aren't joined. Oh, wait a minute. The bottom, haha, okay. Let's do this again. Oh, do that. Select them all, object path, path, offset path, 0.5, boom. Now they're legit. Okay. And there you go. So you've got your front, back, front dress, side dress, side back dress with funky, almost armhole princess, but not really. Center back with this craziness here that'll match to here. It doesn't look like it will, but I promise it will. And then the upper back portion. And there you go. So you'd sew one big long zipper all the way down to below the hip level. So from here up would be a zipper, and it's hard to find giant long ones that are nice. But yeah, so if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, help a friend out, and stay tuned for next week's tutorial. If you have any suggestions, let me know, send me an email, do your thing. I'd like to hear from you, but otherwise, I will just find something else old and funky to draft. So thanks for watching. Have a good week.